Shalom, shalom, Israel. Hey, my name is Arya.
Brother Yashar, shalom, shalom.
Hey, and we want to welcome you out to the soldier salutation of the 12 tribes of Yasharala, man. All right. And so on the first episode of this salutation, man, we wanted to, come to this lesson because we've been bumping to a lot of Old Testament only brothers, and no disrespect or nothing, but through the spirit, we wanted to try to, bring this breakdown. Or did Yahawashi come prior to the Gospels, right? Mark, Luke, John, you know what I'm saying, and Matthew, right? So before that, I wanted to start with Hebrews 10 and 7, man, because at the end of the day, right, hey, Yahawashi, he came in the New Testament and he proved to us and told us that he was here prior to that time, right?
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 7. Then said I, Lo, I come, and the volume of the book that is written of me to do thy will, O Yahweh.
To do thy will, O Yahweh, right? Because he said, I came to do the will of my Father which sent me, right? And if you didn't know, let's get that real quick through the Spirit, right? John, let me say 12. Let me see, because he literally just said, right? John chapter 12 verse 49. Baba Kashad.
This is the book of John, chapter 12 and verse 49. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me.
Right, because he said, I didn't come to do my will, but the Father will who sent me. Go ahead.
He gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak.
Go ahead.
And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak thereof, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak.
So he letting you know right from the beginning that, hey, I came in a volume of the book. Right. I didn't come to do my own will, but the Father will who sent me, right? So let's get in this thing. Let's go to John chapter 5 and verse 46, right? So we're going to get a few things that, happened in the gospel, but then we're going to start busting it down in the Old Testament and let you know that, hey, the Messiah not only came in the Gospels, but he also came in the Old Testament as well, right? John chapter 5 and verse 46.
This is the book of John, chapter 5 and verse 46. For had ye believed Moses,
if you would have believed Moses, which was in the Old Testament, go ahead,
ye would have believed me.
So why would he say that? Why would the Messiah say, if you believe Moses, you would have believed me? Right? Because let's see why he had brought that analogy.
For he wrote of me. But if ye believe not his writings, how shall ye believe my words?
See, because he was trying to give you a foreshadow of the things that was to come from the Hamashiach, right? But, Israel, we hard-headed. We don't like to listen to nobody, bro. We like to do our own things. And that's the reason why we in captivity. Why we've been through 7 majors and a lot of minors. So many minors, he ain't even quote how many minors we've been through, right? So go ahead, bring out John 8 and 53. We're going to read through verse 58, right? Because, hey, once again, we're going to see what he said in the New Testament, in the Gospels, and then we're going to start busting down some of them Old Testaments.
That's right. This is the book of John, chapter 8, and verse 53. Art thou greater than our father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets are dead, whom makest thou thyself?
Right? So there was actually, so the Pharisees was asking him that, but watch what he said.
Yahawashi answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom ye say that he is your God.
Right?
Yet ye have not known him, but I know him. And if I should say, I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you. But know him, but I know him and keep his saying.
Go ahead, keep going, watch this.
Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day.
To see what day?
To see my day.
And he keep talking about Abraham because he knows Abraham. Go ahead.
And he saw it and was glad.
He said Abraham saw his day and was glad. Go ahead.
Then said the Jews unto him, thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham?
So why would he make that statement? Why would Yahawashi make the statement that, hey, I saw Abraham. Are you not great as your father Abraham? He said that. Right? Watch, one more.
Yahawashi said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am.
I am, right? So that lets you know that he was there way before Abraham. Before Abraham was, I am. Right? So let's go ahead and start busting it down a little bit. Let's go to Micah chapter 5 and verse 2.
This is the book of Micah chapter 5 and verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem, Ephrathah, thou, Slakia, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from old.
From what?
From of old, from everlasting.
From everlasting. So he letting you know, like, hey, at the beginning, hey, he was there.
Right.
He was right next to the Father, man. Right after the Father, you know what I'm saying, made the heavens and made his son, man. His son was the first of the creations, right? Right. Let's go a little bit more into the let's get a couple more precepts in the gospel. Let's go to Matthew 2 and 6. The classic, man. Right?
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 2 and verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
So hey, he letting you know from the beginning, hey, he's going to be a governor that's going to rule my people Israel. Right? John 17 and 5, man. Just going to get into this thing. We ain't going to be long, Israel. Right? Hey, Shalom, Nisi Chloe. All praise to Yahawashi, Yahawashi, right?
Shalom, sis.
Shalom.
This is the book of John, chapter 17 and verse 5. And now, O Father, glory thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was.
Before the what?
Before the world was.
Hey, he letting you know, even before the world was. So if he was before the world was, why wouldn't you think that he was in the Old Testament? Right? Hey, Hebrews 7, 1 through 4.
Real quick precept.
Go ahead, King. Bring your precept.
John chapter 1 and verse 1. In the beginning was the Word.
In the beginning was the what?
Was the Word.
Uh-oh.
And like you said, he come in the volume of the book, right?
Come on now.
And the Word was with Yahweh, and the Word was Yahweh. The same was in the beginning with Yahweh.
Right. Hey, skip down to verse 14.
Verse 14. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us.
So he letting you know who that Word was. And go ahead.
And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Full of grace
and truth, right? One more. Watch this.
John bare witness of him and cried, saying, this was he of whom I spake.
Whom he spake. He spoke about him before he even got on the scene. Go ahead.
He that cometh after me is preferred before me, for he was before me.
Go, how can John say he was before me, but yet John been baptized way before?
Before he even came on the scene.
Come on, man. Right? So let's get back to it. Genesis 14, verse 17 through 20.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 14 and verse 17. Right? And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer.
Yep. Chedorlaomer.
And of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale.
The king's dale. Watch this.
And Melchizedek, king of Salem.
So all those that don't know Melchizedek, right? We could go to Hebrews. It gives you a whole listing of Melchizedek, right? Go ahead. And I have to make a video of Melchizedek coming up soon so I can, support that Melchizedek was actually Yahawashi. But go ahead, King.
And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High.
He was the what?
He was the priest of the Most High.
Right. Yahweh. Go ahead.
And he blessed him and said, blessed be Abram of the Most High Yahweh.
That's how you know he was in the Old Testament. He said, hey, Abraham actually blessed him and gave him an offering. Go ahead.
Possessor of heaven and earth.
Go ahead.
And blessed be the Most High Yahweh, which has delivered thine enemies into thy hand, and he gave him tithes of all.
So he actually gave tithes to Melchizedek, right? So that's one proof that Yahawashi was in the Old Testament, man. Right. Now let's go to Revelations 22 and 13 real quick. We're jumping back and forth a little bit just to prove that he not only came in the New Testament, but he was definitely before the actual Gospels, man. Right, go ahead.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 22, and verse 13.
Yep, come.
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
The first and the last, right? Because he was the first of the Most High creations, right?
That's right.
Right, and if you don't believe that, let's get the book of Colossians. I want to say it's 1 and let's start at 15.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 1 and verse 15. Who is the image of the invisible Yahweh, the firstborn of every creature.
Of what?
The firstborn of every creature.
So he literally was the first creation that God made out of anything that God made. Right? So let's get back to it. Let's go to Isaiah 41 and 4. So I just wanted to prove it, man, through the scriptures that, hey, you know, it ain't no joke. Yahawashi was definitely the Most High's first creation. So when he said that Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, that means that he was the first of the creation, and he's going to be the one to come down here and give the full judgment. It's going to get real nasty, brother, with the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Man. Isaiah 41 and 4. Come. All praises to the Most High, man. And to water for everybody that's tuning in, man.
Yeah, man. We got a good emphasis number there, man.
Come.
Where we at, King?
Isaiah 41 and 4.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 41 and verse 4. Who has wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning?
Calling the generations from what?
From the beginning. I, the Lord, the first, and with the last, I am he.
I am he, man. Right? So he said, I am he, with the first and the last. Right? Give me Revelations 1 and 7. And then we're going to jump down to 17 and 18.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds.
He cometh with what?
He cometh with clouds.
Right?
And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so.
And then jump down to 17.
Verse 17. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, fear not, I am the first and the last.
I am the what?
I am the first and the last.
Just like he said in Colossians. Go ahead.
I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and death.
So he had the keys of hell and death, right? Yeah, and that's it, right? So, hey, that's all praises. He letting you know that, hey, he was the first of the creations, the last of the creations. Hey, even though they thought they killed him, right, but he had eternal life because he did the commandment of the Father, right? So, go to Psalms chapter 22 and verse 16.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter
22.
Chapter 22. This is the book of Psalms. Chapter 22 and verse 15. My strength is dried up like a
potsherd.
A potsherd, and my tongue cleaveth to my jaws, and thou hast brought me into the dust of death.
Right, that's the point right here, 16.
For dogs have compassed me.
Right, so Yahawashi said he likened the Romans to dogs. Right, watch this.
The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me.
What did they do?
They pierced my hands and my feet.
So this hadn't happened.
Yeah.
So that's how you know that was a future prophecy.
It didn't happen to David.
Nope.
You know, the OT only like to say that's dead. No.
Joshua didn't happen to Joshua.
There's no accounting there. It didn't happen to David.
Joshua.
You know, David, they Yahawashi.
Yeah. But they also say Joshua.
And
And they also say Moses.
Moses and
Moshe.
sometimes Solomon, yeah.
And sometimes, but it didn't happen to none of them.
That didn't happen to none of them.
That was a future prophecy that only you can find in
Right.
Matthew, in the Gospels, right? So give me the book of Isaiah 53 and 1. 53 and 1 and read through verse 12.
This is the book of Isaiah.
Okay. Hey, because at the end of the day, hey, I know, no knocking, but I know OT only, they always point to Moses, David, and Joshua. Those are the three main pieces, right? But at the end of the day, we know that none of these accounts that we're reading has happened to anybody else but Yahawashi.
That's right. We're reading it right here in the OT.
OT.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 1. Who has believed our report?
Because don't nobody want to believe this report. Go ahead.
And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?
Right.
For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant.
And he said the arm of Yahweh, right? So he letting you know, brother, that he used Yahawashi as his right arm on earth. Watch this.
And as a root out of a dry ground, he has no form nor comeliness.
Right? He wasn't beautiful to look at. Go ahead.
And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
Right?
He is despised and rejected of men.
And we know that it was prophesied in Luke that he will be rejected of the elders, right? Right? Go ahead.
He is despised.
Because I want to kind of get that precept real quick.
He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief.
Right? Hey, and I just want to get this real quick, right? Hey, you stay right there, bro. Right, this is Luke chapter 9 and verse 22. Right, the book of Luke chapter 9 and verse 22, and I'm going to read 22 and 23. Right? It says, saying the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be slain and raised the third day. And he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Right? So, hey, that goes back to what he just brought out when he said he'll be despised and rejected of men. Right? Go ahead, King. Future prophecy, because that didn't happen to King David.
Yeah. Okay, where we at?
Verse 3.
Verse 3. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not.
That's because we rejected him. All of our people didn't follow him like they should have. A lot of them did, but as many as did, and many as didn't. But go ahead, King.
Surely he has borne our griefs,
right,
and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken,
right,
smitten of the Most High, and afflicted.
Right, because I know a lot of OT onlys, they always say, well, we Hebrew Christianites. That's what we always hear. And I'm not knocking them or nothing, but I'm just trying to set the record straight. I'm here to set the record straight today.
That's right.
Right? Go ahead, King, because he took our sins.
Right.
He got the mercy from the Father because we was going off, man.
Right.
Right? Again.
Again and again. But he was wounded for our transgressions.
No, he wasn't, brother.
He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripes we are healed.
Right? Go ahead.
All we like sheep have gone astray.
Right?
We have turned everyone to his own way.
And we still is. We still doing it. We still hate our brother. We still turn our own way. We don't do the will of the Most High. We act like the commandments is just so grievous, so hard to do, so tough. But yet, you go to work, guess what you do? You put your uniform on when you go to work, right? You got to cut your beard off to go to McDonald's, guess what? You do that. But what? We don't want to listen. We want to go his own way. And what else?
And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all.
Go ahead.
He was oppressed.
Right.
And he was afflicted.
Right.
Yet he opened not his mouth.
Right.
He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter. And as a sheep before his shearers is dumb. So he openeth not his mouth.
He didn't complain.
Right.
Only one time did he ask the Most High to please take this burden. But he didn't complain. He just went ahead and did what the Most High commanded him. But go ahead.
He was taken from prison and from judgment.
Right?
And who shall declare his generation?
Right?
For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken.
See, so OT onlys, you got to understand that Isaiah even was talking about this. Future prophecy. Go ahead, King.
And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth.
Right?
Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him.
Right? It was a righteous thing for the Most High to give it to him. Why? Because he bared our iniquity. Go ahead, King.
He has put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand.
Go ahead.
He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many.
Because remember at 13 years old, he was teaching lawyers and doctors. He said, by his knowledge. Go ahead.
For he shall bear their iniquities.
Right?
Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong.
You got to be strong, man, to make it through this, man. Go ahead.
Because he has poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
And he made intercession for the transgressor, right? What did that say? Right?
I wonder if OT only do they subscribe to the Apocrypha?
Some of them do, because the brother
that we ran into.
Yeah, he said that he does. Right? Let's see. Give me Romans 8:34.
This is the book of Romans. Romans chapter 8 and verse 34.
Because he said, and he made intercession for the transgressors. Real quick to prove that.
Who is he that condemneth?
Right?
It is Yahawashi that died.
Right?
Yea, rather, that is risen again, and is even at the right hand of the Most High.
So that kills it's only one God. I mean, that they're the Trinity. Go ahead.
Who also maketh intercession for us.
He made intercession. So he said he intercesses for us, man. So I just had to pull that to prove that. So let's get back to this Old Testament, man. Right? It's a lot of other stuff I was going to get into. But I want to get back to this old, man. Let's get to Exodus 23 and 20. There's some other stuff I wanted to put in there, but
I'm going to grab about 3 more for you.
All right, Khan, King. Khan. Because this is one of the most important points.
Where we getting, King?
Exodus 23 and 20.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 20. Behold, I sent an angel before thee to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared.
Right.
Beware of him.
Right.
And obey his voice.
Right.
Provoke him not.
Right.
For he will not pardon your transgression.
Right. Because we know who's the only one that was worthy to open the book, to read the names out of the book of life. Go ahead.
For my name is in him.
And that's Yahweh and Yahawashi. But before you read verse 22, right? Let's go to Isaiah 9 and 6. I know you only got a couple more. Let's go to Isaiah 9, 6, and 7.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 6.
Watch this.
For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder.
Right.
And his name shall be called Wonderful.
Right.
Counselor.
What?
The Mighty God.
Right.
The Everlasting Father.
The what?
The Everlasting Father. The Prince of Peace.
Right. One more.
Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end.
And we know who's going to run that kingdom.
Right.
Where there's going to be everlasting peace. It's going to be Yahawashi, man. Go ahead.
Upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom to order it.
And he said, look, he said upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom to order it. So I David gonna, because OT only say that David's gonna be running the kingdom. It literally said he's gonna be on the throne to order it. Watch this.
And to establish it with judgment,
right,
and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform it.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Will perform this.
Yeah. Right. So, so let's go back to Exodus 23 and start at verse 22. I know you gotta get out of here.
Yep. And Salakia, yes, I hate that I had to leave so early. This just getting good. We just now getting to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, we had to get in there.
Right. Exodus 23. And where we at?
And verse 23.
And verse 23.
This is, you don't know this account. This is the account of when the angel actually delivered Yasharallah out of Egypt, right? And this angel was actually taking him to the Red Sea. Go ahead, King.
For mine angel shall go before thee, and bring thee in unto the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
I'm sorry, Salaki. It was 22. I'm sorry, Salaki.
22.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Exodus chapter 23 and verse 22. Salaki. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice,
right,
and do all that I speak,
because I brought that out in John at the very beginning. Right. He said, I didn't come to do my words, but the one that sent me to do all that I speak. Go ahead.
Then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries.
Right. So, and then we know that that's Yahweh saying that he will protect us. Right. So, I know bro got to get up out of here. Right. So, I'm going to pick it up, man, where he's leaving off, man.
Shalaki Yashwala, Shalom, man. Y'all enjoy this lesson, man. It's mighty through the spirit.
Right. So, Shalom, King. Praise it. All right. Love you too, King. So, right. So, we're about to get into Jeremiah, man. Chapter 23 and verse 5 through the spirit. Right. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 5. And it reads, Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, thou will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is the name whereby he shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country. Right. So this is a future prophecy, right? Because we haven't been actually delivered from the north country. The north country would be Babylon, right? That great wicked country of the north, right? And he says, and the Lord liveth, which brought out the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Right? So it's a future prophecy, right? That when God sends his son back to battle in the valley of Jehoshaphat, and he's going to plead for his people Israel, right? Right? That's in Joel, we can find it. And then you also can find it Zephaniah and Revelations as well. Right? So let's go to Exodus chapter 3 and verse 1. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 1. Right? It's the book of Exodus chapter 3 and verse 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of Yahweh, even to Horeb. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will not turn aside and see this great sight, while the bush is not burned. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see turned aside, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nigh. Hither put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Right? He said, Moreover, he said, I am God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid upon God. Right? So, because the Most High always sends an angel, which is a messenger, right? And when you get into, and I'm gonna have to do another lesson on this, because when you start really getting into the Greek and you start really getting into breaking down this angel in this burning bush, right? You start getting into actually. Let me pull up the blue letter. Let me show you what I'm talking about real quick. Exodus 3:2. Right, so I'm about to Shalaki Israel. Went to the wrong verse. Here we go. So we'll go to this angel.
Strong's H 4397. Malach.
Malach, right? It says messenger, representation, angel, the theopathic angel, right? And when you really start going into the theopathic angel, it literally starts going into actually Yahawashi. I'm gonna actually be bringing out another lesson on that, because a lot of the angels actually um, were different type of angels, but that theopathic is actually talking about Yahawashi. But I'm gonna do another lesson coming up soon to prove that theopathic and a lot of those actual names were actually just titles for Yahawashi. That's why I brought up the other one when it said the glorious chancellor, counselor, and things of that nature, right? So Exodus 3, 13 and 15, right? The book of Exodus chapter 13 and verse 15. And it came to pass when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that the Lord slew all of the firstborn in the land of Egypt. First, both the firstborn of man, the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I sacrificed I sacrificed to the Lord all that openeth the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeemed. Right? So gotta find out, you know what I'm saying, who that angel was, right? Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, right? Because he said he killed all the firstborn of everything, right? So we're gonna start at Wisdom of Solomon, and we're gonna go to chapter 18, and I want to start at verse 11. I'll start at verse 10. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18 and verse 10. But on the other side there sounded an ill-according cry of the enemies, and a lamentable noise was carried abroad for children that were bewailed. Right? So it was the noblest, all the way from the children, all the way to the adults. It was the firstborn male of everything, whether it be stock, whether it be children or grown-ups or whatever. And it was a lament, a cry. A lament is a terrible, terrible cry, right? Let me show you the definition of lament, so you can get an understanding of what type of a cry it was, right? Because it was, I said lament, right? Because you gotta understand what type of cry that was. Lament, a passionate expression of grief or sorrow, wailing, lamentation, moaning, groan, weeping, crying, sobbing, keen, howl, complaint, Jared, right? So, right? Mourn a person's loss or death, right? Shed tears for sorrow, wail, moan, groan, weep, cry, sob, keen, plain, howl, beat one's breast, ultimate. So it was such a large cry, it was ridiculous, right? So it says, and the evil fathers now singing the songs of praise, right? And it says, but on the other side sounded an ill according cry of the enemies, and a lamentable noise was carried abroad for the children that were bewailed, right? So we were happy. We were singing songs of praises because the Most High was judging them. The master and the servant were punished after one manner, and like as the king so suffered the common person. So they all together had innumerable dead with one kind of death. Neither were the living sufficient to bury them, right? So it was, you can just imagine how many people were dead, Israel. It was so much death that they couldn't even begin to fathom how many people that the Most High Yahweh had put to death, right? Through his son, because he's finna find out. Neither were the living sufficient to bury them, for in one moment the noblest offspring of them was destroyed. So even if that child hadn't did anything wrong, the Most High put him to death. All praises. For whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledged this people to be the sons of God. For while all things were in quiet silence, and that night was in the midst of her swift course, thine almighty word, and the brother brought that out earlier, John chapter 1 and verse 1, in the beginning was the word, thy almighty word leaped down from heaven, out of thy royal throne, as a fierce man of war into the midst of a land of destruction, and brought thine unfeigned commandment as a sharp sword, right? And this going back into that John 8 that I brought out in verse 49 to 50, when he said that, hey, I didn't come for my own words, but for the words that the Father told me. For I came to keep the commandment that my Father gave me, right? So it says, and brought thine unfeigned commandment as a sharp sword, and standing up, filled all things with death, and it touched the heaven, but it stood upon the earth. Then suddenly visions of terrible, horrible dreams troubled them sore, and terrors came upon them unlooked for. Right? So they couldn't believe that it happened. But all praise to the Most High, it was the prophecy, right? It had to happen. And you just found out through Wisdom of Solomon 18, right, who did it, right? It said angel, but when you start doing the precepts, you find out that it was Yahawashi, right? Exodus 14 and verse 19. It's the book of Exodus chapter 14 and verse 19. And the angel of Yahweh, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one could not near the other all the night. So you got to just imagine that, Israel, right? The Most High had Yahawashi as the angel, giving them light, because it's the same angel that put the Egyptians firstborn to death. Now he's in front of Israel, Yasharallah, he's daytime to them, or in the middle of Israel. He's daytime to them in the front, but then he's nighttime to the Pharaoh's army that's pursuing them. Right? So that one came not near the other all the night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east, by the strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. So you got to understand that this wasn't like a quick thing. I know we watched a movie, and the movie kind of make it like he put the rod up, and it just instantly parted. No, it took a minute. You know what I'm saying? That's why it was such a marvelous thing, man. All praise to the Most High. And it said in verse 22, and the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, And the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left hand. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all the Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass, that means whenever you see it came to pass, Israel, it happened, that in the morning watch, the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took off their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. Right? Because, hey, according to Judith 5:17, our enemies know that when we not sin against our Lord, right, he fights for us. Right? Let me get that real quick. Baba Kashah, real quick, man. Right? Because, hey, all the other nations know, man, that the Most High Yahweh, hey, he loves us, man. And as long as we doing his will, hey, he's going to be there for us. But anytime that we go against the will of the Most High, then, hey, you know, we get what's coming to us. It's the book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 17. And whilst they sin not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hated iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. Right? So, hey, and it said, but now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they are scattered, and possess Jerusalem where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. So now we're starting to come back to our proper place. You know what I'm saying? We're starting to come back to the law, statutes, commandments. We're getting our heritage back. We're loving the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi back through his unbegotten Son, right? And we're making a comeback, man, Most High willing, right? And he fought for them. Verse 26, Exodus chapter 14 and verse 26. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the rivers may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its strength. When the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And the waters returned, and covered the chariots, and the horsemen, and all the host of Pharaoh that came unto the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them, but the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea. And the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon Egyptians, upon the Egyptians. And the people feared Yahweh and believed Yahweh and his servant Moses. Right? So, hey, at the end of the day, man, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Hey, you know, that goes back into I want to say it's Colossians. You know what I'm saying? Where it says he said the Greeks want knowledge, and the Jews, you know what I'm saying, paraphrasing, the Jews demand a sign, man. So hey, we got the mighty sign, man. But hey, but you know how Israel get down. At the end of the day, hey, we go the hell off. Right? We go all the way off, man. Right? So let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 1. Right? Because hey, at the end of the day, hey, we got to find out, man. Hey, what really happened? It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and all were baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. So let's find out who that rock that followed them in the clouds. and that rock was Hamashiach. But with many of them, Yahweh was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our example, to the intent we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. So hey, we gotta take these things for our learning, Israel. We gotta know that hey, our people went off, so we'll know what not to do. Because hey, if I tell you, if you touch a hot stove and you touch that, and I show you what happens when you touch that hot stove, and then you want to continue to touch the hot stove your damn self, then hey, that was just a wicked, wicked spirit, and you're gonna get what you deserve. So hey, all praises. So hey, let's get the book of Exodus, right? Chapter 12 and verse 23. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 23. It says, Shalaki. And it says, for the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come unto your house to smite you. So the destroyer was just another name for Yahawashi, right? Let's go back into the blue letter real quick. Exodus 12 and 23. All praises to the Most High, man. That destroyer, and I have brought that destroyer out in earlier in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, right? In the Apocrypha, right? So let's find out.
Strong's H 7843. Shacheth.
Shacheth, a destroyer, corrupt, go down to ruin, to decay, to be marred, to be spoiled, be corrupted, be corrupt, be injured, be ruined, be rotten, to spoil, ruin, to pervert, corrupt, deal corruptly, to spoil, ruin, destroy, to pervert, right? Here we go. Destroyer, participle, right? The destroyer, destruction, right? Who derives species, right? So the destroyer, and I showed you through the precepts that the destroyer actually was Yahawashi, right? In Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, right? So 10 through 16. So we're going to go, and the brother already brought out John 1 and 1. So I'm going to bring out this last precept, and through the Spirit, you know, I pray that the Most High blessed everybody with some understanding on this lesson. So it's the book of Exodus, chapter 33. We'll start at verse 12. The book of Exodus, chapter 33 and verse 12. And Moses said unto the Lord, see, thou sayest unto me, bring up this people, and thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast also found grace in my sight. Now therefore I pray thee, if I have found grace in thy sight, show me now thy way, that I may know thee, that I may find grace in thy sight, and consider that this nation is thy people. Right? So Moses is asking the Most High, like, if I found grace in your sight, let me see you, and let me see that, hey, I found grace in thy sight. Right? Verse 14, and he said, my presence shall go with thee. Right? He said, my presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. Right? So who is the presence? His presence is his son, man, Yahawashi, man. Right? His son, his only begotten son. And he said unto him, if thy presence go not with me, carry us not to hence. For wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not in that thou goest with us? So shall we be separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. And the Lord said unto Moses, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name. Right? So, the Most High said he literally knew Moses by name, by first name basis, man. Why? Because, he kept the commandments, man. Right? So, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahawashi, Yahawashi. All praises to the Most High God, man. Yahweh. Right? I pray that somebody got some understanding out of this. And like I said, next week, I'm going to bring the soldier salutation to the 12 tribes of Israel next week again. And I'm going to try to bring out some of the other names that Yahawashi, who the world English calls Jesus, the Messiah, actually was called. Because, he had many names. He had many names. And I'm going to give you one small, many small instances just to give you a small interlude to next week, right? So, and it was really titles, man, titles, right? So Malachi 3:1, real quick, the book of Malachi chapter 3 and verse 1 says, behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant. So this is the messenger of the covenant. So whoever delivered the covenant to Moses, this was that messenger, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? Now this is a future prophecy of that messenger. And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver. And they may offer unto the Lord an offering of righteousness. So, in that time when we go through that Jacob's trouble, he gonna purify and refine you. Let's see what his title was in Daniel chapter 9, verse 25. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 25. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem until the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times, right? And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and the end of the war, desolations are determined, right? So, he was the prince there, man, right? Let's go to John 1 and 41, right? This is the last one, this emphasis. John chapter 1 and verse 41. It's the book of John, chapter 1 and verse 41. He first findeth his own brother Simon, and said unto him, we found the Messiah, which is being interpreted the Christ. So, that's just another one, man. So, give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High, man. I pray that everybody got a little edification through the Spirit. And all praise to the Most High. And to the soldier salutation, I salute you. All 12 tribes scattered abroad, I tell y'all, shalom and shalom, which is peace be unto you.
We begin tonight with the Middle East in flames. Israel has formally declared war after that unprecedented multi-pronged terror attack from Hamas, shocking the nation, catching its intelligence service by surprise. The death toll is mounting, and at least 100 taken hostage. Several Americans are now confirmed to be among the dead. Israel retaliating with airstrikes on Gaza. More than 400 dead in the territory. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warns there is a long and difficult war ahead.
Tonight, fire and fury in Gaza City. It erupted just after dawn Saturday. Air raid sirens sounding across Israel, heralding a massive barrage of Hamas.
I don't know if you just heard that. That's the sound of a mortar coming in from Gaza. This is being fired by Hamas militants while Israelis are trying to deal with Hamas, not just across in Gaza, but also here, still inside Israel.
There's a new video this morning that some say may be proof we're not alone in the universe. A UFO in the form of a bright light is seen descending over the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. The video is said to be taken over the weekend. Then suddenly the light shoots up into the sky. There you see it. Another video from a different angle appears to show the light doing the same thing. Those clips have gone viral now.
What I want to ask you is how people going to believe that a man is going to come from the sky, that's going to crack the clouds? How are we supposed to believe that right now when we're going through so much hell on the planet right here today? Yes.
Strange deliverance. The chariots are coming. Strange deliverance. The chariots are coming.
Yes.
Strange deliverance.
E37 Entertainment, baby, we here. Righteous sound music. The chariots are coming, the evil ones are running. Like the days of Noah, destruction surely coming. Only 8 people lived, and the rest were drowned in their own blood, suffocated, going under. You might wonder how the rain poured and it plundered. As the people screamed, as they ran, they heard the thunder. Yahweh talking while you chose not to hear my prophets. Prophecy is dropping his doctrine every day. Don't listen to these false men, the Lord's on the way. And like the grass that's cut, they finally blow away. Their job is not to say, they never pay the way. They never bang those streets, they never face the beast. Snuggle up behind the keyboard trying to be us. They can't see us, so they sold the score trying to be us. Hating on their own brothers, having murderous thoughts. The chariots raging through the streets, y'all say us.
The chariots are coming.
Yes.
Strange deliverance. The chariots are coming. Strange deliverance. The chariots are coming. Strange deliverance. The chariots are coming. Strange deliverance.
Unbelievable sight. Yes. The Lord is showing his might. Tell me what the people feeling. Look at his face in the lights. How can I help? Ships are tossed and now the people talking nice. Steady rolling dice, never take advice. Feeling so surprised, seeing paradise. God loves everybody. Then why is he killing the night? Yes. All the sinners of his people gon' die. Utter darkness, no walking in the midst of twilight. Yes. No rebellion, our enemies, they all in line. Yes. Celebrate a great deliverance. Yes. The possibilities are limitless. To our enemy, it's ridiculous. Liberate the ones that's keeping the diligence. We the one that's on the side. If you think it's wrong to ride on the resurrection night, we the one that's gonna ride.
The chariots are coming.
Yes.
Strange deliverance. The chariots are coming. Strange deliverance. The chariots are coming.
Yes.
Strange deliverance. The chariots are coming. Strange deliverance.
Abba Yahawashi, please deliver me. Through all my sins and iniquities, please consider me. I'm sick and tired of this world, and you're my remedy. The devil has infinite stamina, but drains my energy. Seeing my people destroyed, you know it's killing me. I'm from DC, but the whole nation feeling me. How dare your children regard another deity? Better get it right, or it's your bloody spilling G. Our wickedness has us trapped in this captivity. We constantly beg for your mercy, I'm down on bending knee. The righteous stand bold as a lion, but the wicked flee. Like Adam and Eve when they ate from that forbidden tree.
The chariots are coming. Strange deliverance. The chariots are coming. chariots are coming. Yes. Our strange deliverance. The chariots are coming. Our strange deliverance.
The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place.